Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a special episode of We Bought a Mic. Today, we're talking about possibly the best show of the year so far, The PITT. All episodes now streaming on HBO Max. You might have two tiles on your TV that say HBO Max.
Did that happen to you? You didn't have a Max and an HBO Max?
Well, now they both say HBO Max.
Oh, okay.
So one of them won't work.
Apple TV just changed one day, and I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, but the old one was still there. So this is on the original one. The other one just doesn't work. But yeah,
you can find this one on the app that works.
Right. We talked about it. We talked about it briefly on our mid-year draft episode. Shout out to Danny. And now we're here to give you spoiler filled thoughts on the entire season. It's 15 episodes. Welcome. I'm Ernest.
I'm here with a fresh cast for my necrotic penis. My name is Hunter.
Guy who's like such a stand for the pit that he injures himself so he can go to a hospital.
I just here's the thing. I'm like a boots on the ground kind of guy. Like we didn't get a chance to interview anybody from the pit, so I tried to interview my ER doctor.
Yeah, you're like about to go down for surgery, and you're like, what are my sats?
Yeah. I'm like, you're probably gonna have to do like a bypass triple over under. Right?
We used to do this out in the Marines in the field. You guys wouldn't know about this.
Yeah.
I'm Drew, and I've been filled with a lot of regret ever since we did our mid-year draft.
And you didn't get this.
I had the first pick,
right?
And my biggest concern was our
you didn't pick the pit.
Well, our holy trinity of guys have all put things out this year, and so my biggest fear going in was I had to come away with one of the things.
Yeah, Nathan, Tim,
Kyle.
Okay. This is
I ended up getting two of them, so I'm still happy. But like the best thing that's come out this year is the pit.
Yeah,
the best thing that has come out this year is the pit.
Thank you for listening.
This is like the best TV show in years.
Wow.
Like
it is, man. It's like
I couldn't believe this show. And everybody, you guys were early on the train. Yeah, we are delayed in recording this episode because you guys were early on the train, and I'm bad with watching TV sometimes. And I was like, no.
I mean, it's 15 hours.
It's an HBO Max show. I mean, I guess. I mean, once I get off of Apple TV,
have they changed? Do you think like the pre-show, like the things that pop up?
The Max original.
It did say a Max.
No, that's burned in.
Yeah, it is a Max original.
It's
too bad.
It's like the same
Hacks.
with Hacks.
Yeah.
Yep.
But like, I didn't really have any reason to be delayed in watching this. Because I don't know, you guys, it was funny like hearing you guys talk about it where you're like, no man, you just have to get to like episode 4 or 5 and like it really sinks. And I watched the first episode, I was like, oh my god, the show's incredible.
Yeah, you're like
from the jump.
I don't have to wait. Like I'm already kind of all in.
It's so like stupid good.
So it's funny. After you guys kind of talking about it a little bit in our mid-year pod and watching through this show. And I mean this in a positive way, like gave me kind of flashbacks to a pre-pod Hunter whenever I was like pre-med originally.
You could have been in the pit.
I could have been in the pit. And this movie reminded me why I was never going to make it in the pit. I was like our girl Crash on day one. Not in that I was queasy, but just in that like my brain only has so many space for people in the nightclub of my head, and I save those for movies. But I think that like this movie is like so real to life. Immediately, like halfway through the season, I called my dad, who is an active nurse, and was just like, "Hey, I know you don't watch television. I need you to watch this show because I think
you work in an ER."
He has worked shifts in the ER. He works. He's a psychiatric nurse right now. But
in his younger days, he was in the pit.
I think that even so, he sees emergency cases. And I think anybody in the healthcare industry, even if you aren't actively working in an ER, can relate to emergencies that do pop up and some of the shit that you see in the show. Some of the specific characters.
Hospitals are large buildings. The ER is just one section.
Even down to the nuance of like, hey, we don't have funding to keep this hospital open.
Right.
We're recording this
the
in a
manager
day and age
lady
when hospitals around the country are basically about to get shut down in the coming months because of lack of federal funding.
Thanks, Republicans.
Sweet. Listen to our Eddington pod for more thoughts on that. But I think that's in like having that as the backdrop while this is happening. That's also something that is active in my dad is a nurse in a rural hospital. Like that is actively something. He is a head nurse, so he is having to deal with a lot of things like the nuances of funding a hospital while you're still actively trying to take care of and heal patients. That over there put on the side, just the nitty gritty of whenever we are in the operating room or having somebody come in, it's not just technical mumbo jumbo that is like gibberish and you can tell that it's absolute nonsense. Like it is actually using true medical terminology to diagnose and to treat the patients while also still having the credit that this is a what do they call it, like a teaching hospital, because they actually have residents coming in there,
like
so they're
squads.
able to explain to you some of the things that are going on while not dumbing down the procedures themselves.
That's the thing is they're explaining things, but they're explaining things to upcoming doctors. They're not trying to make it for idiots.
But you're able to figure it out though.
Exactly.
They trust the audience.
You don't
in the genius
you
way.
don't have to know like Latin, you know what I mean, to understand like what they're doing to people. It's a very mature show. It is, we have to acknowledge generally, like from a creator standpoint and from just like a spiritual standpoint, it's standing on the shoulders of ER, which has not I'd say any like at all of a role in our lives, because the peak of
We're
ER
a little young. Yeah.
Well, yeah, the peak of ER was in the 90s, but ER was a groundbreaking show because it was a procedural that was a lot more rooted in reality than most other shows. There weren't a lot of hospital procedurals back then. It may have been the first.
I guess General Hospital, but that's like a soap.
That's not exactly.
Yeah.
That's not a procedural. Like it stood alone in its sort of quest to, you know, to show this part of life and like be dramatic and have like character moments, but all in a pretty organic way. This show is co-created by ER alums. The showrunner and head, what's the main?
So R. Scott Gemmill
Gemmill
is the main guy.
Yeah, and then star, and then also like executive producer and like co-writer and all that is Noah Wyle.
Yeah. Emmy nominee.
Yeah, and
for this role.
Oh yeah, and if he doesn't win, I'm gonna like kill myself.
He has to.
I'm gonna kill everyone.
Is he supposed to win? Like,
Yes.
what are like gold?
Yeah,
okay, that's good. Well, because I didn't know, because Succession's supposed to win best drama, so I
Severance.
or Severance. Sorry, not that's what I meant.
Which like I love Severance. That's crazy.
That's insane.
This is
Season 2 of Severance.
This is so good.
Yeah.
Like I love Severance. This is so much better. This is like a perfect show.
Yeah, I mean, if Adam Scott wins, it'll be a bummer.
No
Whatever.
fucking way.
Fuck the Emmy.
This is, again, I mean, you could say that he's almost, Noah's kind of has like an advantage here because he spent a long ass time on ER doing the procedural medical thing. And so he's ready for that on fucking steroids.
By the way, I just pulled up a Deadline article published today that says Dr. Robbie will acknowledge he needs help for his mental health in new season. That's the headline.
I wasn't going to watch.
God, thank God. How brave of them. I can't wait for it to be like the middle of the shift on July 4th and be like, I need help.
Is it confirmed? We're doing July 4th?
I don't actually know. I don't know if that's just rumored or if that is.
You know, non like award season in entertainment is a lot like football off season where like people are just writing articles about anything. Like they're like, listen, my job year round is the same thing, so I'm just calling around to people. Hey, is Noah Wyle gonna get therapy?
Well, yeah, and they're like, yeah, well, he'll fucking address it, I guess. I don't know.
If you're watching this or listening to this without watching the show, I mean, we highly recommend it. You got to watch it, but it's 24, right? It's 24 in an ER. every episode is an
You
hour
said it.
on
I didn't
this
say
shift.
it.
I know.
Yeah.
24 is a show that I've always really liked, and I've told you guys to watch, and you guys have never.
Well, you specifically are very pro the treatment of Middle Eastern people. In 24. You don't really care for the show so much.
I think
as
they
you
get
do
it
care
too
for the
good in
politics.
that show.
Yeah.
I think they're.
You often say like Kiefer doesn't take it far enough. He should hurt them more.
No, Hunter's a big 24 fan. I'm being serious.
Hey,
all through high school, he
do
genuinely was telling us to watch 24. I'm not joking.
No, I that's not a
Specifically,
that's actually not
the
a bit.
DVD box set.
No, specifically, yeah. Well, yes. It's because whenever I was 8 years old, and this isn't a joke, 24 is my favorite show. I would watch 24 and Survivor with my family. Those were the two shows that we watched together. And now I go to therapy.
I know.
So
if you asked me to guess what two shows you watched,
And did you hate Superman back then too?
yeah,
Or-
and you know maybe that is why I hate Superman is because I just don't like immigrant. I don't like that he doesn't look like us. I would like him more if he looked like me.
are you voting Joe Cross? So yeah, that
Free Johan Poor or whatever the fuck.
Jarhan Poor.
Jarhan Poor.
No, you're big Baravia.
Yeah.
head. So that is genuinely that's something that in like the first couple sentences, because everyone's heard a thing or two about the pit, about like, wow, it's like the main thing you probably hear is like, oh my god, it's super realistic.
yeah, true
like,
to life.
Yeah, like the medical stuff is just it's detailed and real on a level you've never seen before. That's very true. The most important part of the show that I had never heard, like being pretty plugged in before watching it, is that every episode is a different hour of the same day.
Yeah.
And it's told chronologically and it's in real time.
Yeah,
And
it's
that
a
is
15-hour
That is
shift.
the most important part of the show.
And for the Robbie character, it's so important because this is a big cast. We're going to talk about a lot of these people, but he is like the most important character. And you are watching wholeheartedly an arc, right? An arc that plays out over the course of this one day. And so, yeah, it's funny that's like, oh, in season 2, he's going to acknowledge his mental health struggles, but that is literally a huge part of what he's dealing with on this day. It's the anniversary of the passing of his mentor, essentially, from the COVID pandemic. A
Big vibes of Dr. Odyssey.
Right, a
flashback
Patient Zero, a healthcare professional.
I
who,
was thinking a lot of Dr. Odyssey. I was like, he's just like Patient Zero.
This show, the pit is living in the shadow of Dr.
Yeah. Dr. Robbie wishes that he was on a fucking cruise ship. Things would be so much better for him.
It's gay week here at the pit.
Buddy, it's gay week every week on the Odyssey.
I know. Yeah, when there was an episode that was gay week, I was like, how gay could it? What were all the other
Right
weeks?
there.
I would love. We need to bring back crossovers. Shout out to Abbott and Always Sunny. Like
The Dr.
You want a
Odyssey
Dr.
pit?
Odyssey the pit
I mean,
crossover?
Dr. Odyssey is canceled. They're not bringing it back. But
An episode where like it's like healthcare workers, like they bring them on the ship as like a thank you for a week. And it's like the pit crew gets to go on a nice cruise. Yeah, but then like one of them like has like what is the vibe? One of them catches chlamydia from fucking like 4 other ones. That's most episodes of Dr. Odyssey.
Homeboy drug addict is
Which
having
one is going to
withdrawals.
be? Yeah, it's definitely Langdon. Let me tell you, if I had
Langdon's
to guess,
fucking on them Filipino girls.
yeah, if I had to guess, one person was going to be like the bad guy, or was going to be the one who's going to have a drug addiction on the show. It was like the most pretty boy doctor that I've ever
Probably
seen.
like the soap opera guy.
Truly like the biggest outcast on the show. It's funny, I didn't realize while watching the show, I knew there was one guy who you didn't like, and for the first couple episodes I really thought it was Langdon, because I was just like, this guy he is not in medicine. He is a model. Like he's not a fucking doctor. Get out of here.
I think that what makes this show such an all-timer is that it can be the harrowing medical drama that like wades fully into the real shit, and like the silly workplace like romance.
It manages to find space for a lot of stuff, even though more than any show ever, it is sticking to reality. That's the magic trick of the show.
I think that like the reason for that is this show, like the biggest pro that it has is this is a masterclass in writing and demonstrating compartmentalization. Like,
Yes.
as a doctor,
Which is the nature of the job.
you have to compartmentalize everything because it's like, I can't let the fact that this 7-year-old just died on me affect me treating this 45-year-old who's coming in here right now. Like, I have to put that to the side and just deal with it later. Like, I have to bury it down, whether that's good for my emotional or mental state or not. I have to bury it down, or else somebody else is also going to die.
Yeah.
And like the way that it is expressed, not just through Robbie, but through our little farm boy, our favorite
Nebraska boy.
Our favorite Welshman.
our favorite Welsh Nebraska
obvious
boy.
fucking.
That just give him a different haircut, man. It's really the haircut. I'm like, that is not from this country.
I lived on a farm in Nebraska.
I still like that guy.
I know.
But like,
I'm too.
Whitaker.
it's having him, Whitaker. It's like Robbie specifically is like, hey man, you have to get over it. Like, your job is to fucking like get over it, and like, people are gonna die on you in this job. Another person, the next person you see also might die.
You have
on
to
you,
save them.
but you have to save them. You
Yeah.
have to get over it. You have to compartmentalize. And I think that the show gets that across to you early enough that it makes it so that it can have these moments of peace. It can have these moments where things slow down and that we're having
then
more
they're right
human
back to it.
interactions with each other, because it's going to ramp up again. But like, they can just go off and on the side start like doing side bets about like who stole the ambulance and where it's going to end up and like whether they're on drugs or what's going on. Like, they can have side pools going on because this is the only relief that they are getting from the insanity and the madness and the depression that's just around them at all times.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's about like, these jobs are fucking hell. They suck. And another piece of, I mean, there are so many sort of like offshoots like orbiting the fact that this show is covering one shift at this ER. One piece of that means that it is like a true ensemble show, not just like a theoretical ensemble. There are 13 actors who are in every episode of this. And 14.
I was going to say, is that including?
Yeah.
The way the
If you
show,
count Dr. Collins, it's
the
14.
way we transition from
Exactly.
one interaction to the other, the way we'll be on a 2-shot, 2 actors having a conversation with each other, and then one of them will leave the frame, will stay on the other one, and without cutting, we go into another conversation,
Exactly.
another
Incredible.
plot
You
line.
Incredible.
exactly. It's like a hypnotic show.
Yeah.
Like, it truly just like, it's so unbelievably bingeable because it has that continuous feel where like, even though we're within this like extremely structural format of like, we know we're in an ER, we know that like exactly what everyone's going to be doing, you still never know what's going to happen next because you are, in a scene where like 4 main characters are interacting. The next thing you might do, you might end up following any of them to their next patient. And that a lot of that is
or
just,
someone might come in.
yeah, exactly. A lot of that is baked into the nature of the job. Like, they are spinning a ton of different plates at once. They are overseeing cases. It's really, really rhythmic. And it's almost like sort of, it triggers like really pleasurable parts of your brain to watch because it follows like these structural ideas that you just like, when you're watching something, you're like, oh my God, like, but it also is really reflective of real life. Where like, I mentioned like that ensemble cast. That's a huge ensemble, but also, just like in a real like ER, that's not the wing of the hospital where you're spending 2 weeks if you're having a stay at the hospital. So there will be like, the first 6 episodes will have one plot line with like these 3 characters that you're regularly, every single episode, you're checking in on 1, 2, 3 times over those 6 episodes, and then it's gone forever because that's just how it goes. Like, you have a list of cases that you have to go in and rhythmically check on, especially because mainly we're following the overseeing doctor, Noah Wyle, and he's running himself ragged over all these people. So you'll just, you'll have like full brilliant performances by actors for like
patience.
a third of the season, and then they're gone for the whole rest of it. And it's beautiful to watch. It really is special.
I really want us to highlight some specifics there, because there's a lot of really small ones, you know, like the parents of the kid that's
the fentanyl kid. Yeah.
Well, there's the fentanyl kid, and then there's the little kid who has like ate weed gummies. So there's like smaller ones.
There's the kids of the dad
that's like the bigger one. I would say is the old man who's dying and his adult children who have to decide whether or not to let him die. That, to me, when I look back on this season, I think that might be my favorite subplot. We'll get to the mass shooting, the sort of the big ticket item of the season that we're leading up to. But that aside, I think that one might be my favorite, because the performances felt so raw. And that old man, that dude just looked like he was actually dying.
Bro's dead.
Yeah, we need to check on that guy, whoever played that old man, because it's kind of the same thing where whenever there's a childbirthing sequence, I'm like, did I just actually watch somebody give it?
Who made that pussy?
I watched that scene on an airplane, and I was like, I feel like I shouldn't be watching. Like, people should not be around.
There's a kid behind you. Like, is that how that happened?
Yeah, I like actively like turned my my tablet away from everybody else, because I was like, I don't want everybody else to see this.
The eye surgery is the standout for me.
So with all of these, because I do want to get to like some of the true standouts for like the side threads that we go around here, but like I think to the broader point about this show, the biggest thing for me is that this is a true masterwork in like the dollhouse effect. And I think that often people refer to like dollhouseification in like the Wes Anderson sense, where it is everything is symmetrical and everything is like a certain look. But what I mean whenever I'm talking about the dollhouse of this show, it is that I just want to know what the writer's room was, because I just have to picture that they basically had a recreation of this ER, and they're just moving the pieces around every scene, because there will be an episode or two where like maybe we check in with one of the doctors once, or maybe we like barely see them at all because they're dealing with somebody else, but they're dealing with this other patient, like advancing whatever plot line over there, so that then whenever we pick up with them, it doesn't feel like we've skipped a beat.
Yeah.
Like it is this perfect juggling of where everybody is that, yeah, guess what? Robbie's dealing with this one person, they're like dying child right now. He's not going to be there to help the residents while they're like trying to figure out this one thing. So then they're going to have to reach out, and they're going to have to get help from Dr. Mohan to like figure out what this issue is.
Yeah, man.
It's this perfect like measurement of where everybody is at any given time. And sometimes to the point where for some of our doctors, like for Robbie, he just can't pee for 3 straight episodes because he keeps getting pulled in different directions. He gets in there about to pull his cock out, and then just like, wait, no, it's she's bleeding from the head. You got to go right now. He's like, oh my God. Okay. Give me another hour.
It really, yeah, exactly. It rocks.
To that point, like, sorry. I think that like with the dollhouse part, like that is directing, editing, blocking, acting. Like that is just a measurement of everything. Like that's all of it.
It's all of it. And that's the strength of the show is conceptually. There are a ton of shows that are like really great ensemble shows that like give you like a little taste of a lot of people every episode. But it blew my mind, you know, after watching it, just looking up, you know, the episode counts for this cast, because like a character like Mateo, in any other show, because that is, you know, you'd call him, he's very recurring. He's, you know, he's important to the show, but he's a minor character. He's in every episode. He has to be like you have to make use of all these people because of the way that we're jumping around so much. And it's just absolutely brilliant. It is so hypnotizing. It is so endlessly entertaining. It transfixes you to the way that the show just sort of it's not also like another thing that sort of gets lost in the way people describe the show is because like because the realism is such like a fixation. It's so important to the show. That said, this show is not like cinema verite. Like the way people talk is not.
Sometimes it is when it needs to be.
Well, when it's showing you medical shit,
exactly. Yeah.
But like when people are interacting, like it's a very written show.
Yes. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not trying to.
It doesn't forget to just be a TV.
Exactly.
show.
Like it gives you like very written comedy, very written drama. Like it makes time to give you all of that. It's not trying to perfectly depict all of reality. It's just once they get down to business, that's what it's doing.
It's a perfect marriage of the two modes of television that we've gotten in the 21st century. Like the first half was, obviously coming off of the 90s of things like Seinfeld and Friends, where it was just like every episode is just hanging out with our friends. And then, we got plenty of that early on with things like The Office. And then we started to get into things like Lost that led directly into things like Severance, where it's just like this hyper serialized, leaving behind the episodic nature of what built up TV, where every episode is just part of this larger story. We are getting that in the Pit. Every episode is part of this 15-hour day that we have to experience as a whole. But in those, in between, there are these more episodic mini arcs.
Yeah.
And I can't remember if anything, the only thing I can think of is Andor, because Andor has these 3 episode arcs where you have the 12 episode season, but it gets broken up into like, okay, for these 3 episodes, we're telling one story. And then that story's over. And then the next 3 we're telling kind of a new story. That's like the only comparison that's coming to mind. Because I can't think of another show that fully like blends the two together.
No, there
in
isn't
a perfect way.
There's not like a 1-for-1 comp to this show, but I thought a lot about, even to like down to like the presentation of it, just like early 2000s HBO. Down to like, the title cards are like black screen Times New Roman.
Right.
Like
The Wire, Sopranos.
The Wire is the biggest one for me.
Yeah.
Because that show has more time to get into characters. Because it doesn't have the time constraints that the Pit has. So like, especially the farther you get into The Wire, you're getting into like deeper character stuff. But like, it is deeply procedural. Like it is showing like hardcore, like
process.
Like especially on the cop side, like it, you know what I mean? But then also it is taking the time to be very, to be funny when it wants to be dramatic when it wants to be, to get into emotions when it wants to.
And just the size of the cast.
Yeah, exactly. Like
the
that
number of characters.
I think that's probably the best comparison for this show. In terms for like feel. And it's remarkable because that show like obviously has gone down in history and is well revered, but there haven't been a lot of shows since then that like recreate that feel, because it's fucking hard. It's really hard. It requires, just like The Wire had, it requires like a deep level of expertise in the procedure part. Like you have to almost just straight up be coming from that field to have a good enough understanding, or funny enough, to be coming from a show about that field in the way they are on the Pit, where they're coming from 20 years of, observing the field, where they're just on that level of like deeper understanding, that they're like, we can weave in the hardcore realism with the rest of what makes something compelling.
I mean,
and it's so special.
And I think to your point, like, I mean, obviously the no Wyle of it all, but even R. Scott Gemmill, is actively the showrunner for NCIS Los Angeles right now. Like he is the showrunner for that show. Like coming from procedural, like that is
yeah. Well, and also, I mean, way before that, like a billion years on ER.
He did ER,
but like, and it's I've totally forgot about that, and that's so funny because like, I mean, I'm assuming that even he would admit like NCIS Los Angeles is like awful. Like it's horrible. You get paid way more to make that show.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So
he did
much.
Jag too.
Exactly.
Yes,
Jag is a super procedural show. Like it's about, it's like, it's kind of like NCIS. It's like military legal shit.
I think one thing that, and it almost feels like counterintuitive to say, but one thing that I found really refreshing about the show is that this is a TV show. It's not trying to be TV as movie or trying to be like a thing where this is all a mini series that we're telling an 8-hour story right now, or even something like the studio that I really love that is like
very cinematic.
It's very cinematic to the point that it is trying to almost tell these stories that it's like, it's going to be on your TV, but like we almost want it to be projected on an even bigger screen. Like this is something that it's made for you to watch at home. Like it is made for you to watch over. I think the show deserves more than this, but I think you could second screen a show like this and you would get,
for some of it,
you would get like,
for most of it,
70-80% of the way there. I don't think that you should, to be fair. I think the show deserves
second
more
screen
than
is
you.
too intense. I was doing third or fourth for almost all of it.
Yeah. You had Subway Surfers going on your side TV.
I had Subway Surfers Chromecasting on the main.
Yeah.
you had
The PITT on my phone.
You had Joe Cross campaign announcement on a loop.
Yeah. You had Joe Baldwin TikTok dances on a fourth screen.
We have to free each other's hearts.
I think that like this movie just, it feels so fresh despite it doing all of the procedural elements. I think it's because like we just don't get shows like this anymore. Like The Wire came out over 20 years ago at this point. Like this is even things like that are procedural. We just don't get that. The closest thing that we get is something like, I don't know, Succession, but even Succession is like, that's the heightened HBO.
Yeah.
That's not doing early
That's
2000s
different.
HBO. That's not trying to do the same thing.
A big piece of it is I think it's just fucking hard.
Yeah.
It seems like a very hard show.
Yeah, it's hard to be constrained to reality in such a concrete way. It's also hard in the year 2025 to find a fresh way to make a medical procedural. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like ER was like the launching point for a lot of stuff. You know, I also like, you know, back like Saint Elsewhere may have, I don't know if it may have been before ER, but like there's such a long history of this. ER alone has tackled everything you could under the sun of medical procedurals. That show was around for so long, and it did a lot of groundbreaking stuff. But that said, you can also find on YouTube a ton of clips of ER that are just straight up goofy to watch now. You know what I mean? Just because TV has changed.
Yeah.
But since then, offshoot wise, we've had shows like House, which while like, especially like at that time was a very good show. Like it
stops being about the medical stuff at a certain point.
That, and also it has the thing that almost every medical procedural since then has, which is every single case has to be like the first time this
it has
ever
to be
happened
like,
in the history of
did
medicine.
you drink river water in the Zimbabwe forest?
It's like,
it's
every single case has to be impossible. And there is an amount of super rare shit going on in the pit too, just because like that's how to write an interesting story. But also like the more interesting plot lines are the more common ones. Like you said, the son and daughter who just have to decide, do we intubate our dad? And then after that, like it's up to us to decide when to kill him, basically.
Yeah.
Like
Let him die.
that's what actually happens in hospitals every day.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the 1 in a billion cases.
And even the like more rare cases aren't like, they aren't insane. They aren't 1 billion cases. It's something like maybe a doctor skipped over doing a full check whenever somebody came in and they had like some anemia shortage or whatever earlier today, but they were pregnant and we didn't do a full look over everything else. Like it's something that you could almost understand where things could slip
it's a lot
through
of
the
stuff where
cracks.
it's like if you ask the doctor like, hey, what's a pretty interesting case you've had, whereas like most medical shows now are like, hey, what is the crazy shit that's ever happened in this hospital?
What's like the saddest thing you've ever heard, which is something that's usually pretty simple. It's like, hey, there's a kid who came in, he was 18 years old and he died of a fentanyl overdose. Or hey, there was a girl who a 7-year-old girl who jumped in the pool to save her little sister who also fell into the pool, and then she ended up being the one to drown. Like
that one broke me.
Those are both things. All three of these ones that are involving death that we mentioned, tears. I'm like sobbing looking at this. Specifically, the one that you mentioned with the old man. Like whenever they're in the room and they're talking about how their dad worked on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood and everything. Just tears are just
Yeah,
streaming
what's
down,
the
coming
little
down.
mantra that he has him say, that I forgive you, I love you, I forgive you.
I love you. I forgive
Oh,
you. I'm sorry. I hope
Brother.
you forgive me. Yeah, like I was just like, man, anybody who has had a elderly family who is dying or has died, it's cuts different.
Yeah, and they for most of these characters, they do a good job of giving them nuance. Like in that case in particular, the son is a lot more willing to listen to Wyle when he's telling him like, hey, you're just kind of torturing your dad for your own sake because you want him to keep living. And then the daughter you could really easily get annoyed by, but they take the time to be like, no, she just is like hurting.
Well,
and she comes around.
And also they, without spending too much time on this, because at the end of the day, this is a show about the doctors and a show about the ER. It gives just enough to just be like, no, you got the relationship with dad that you always wanted growing up. I didn't get that. I was like the daughter that he didn't want. And so he only, like, you almost get this impression of like, she is only just now late in life come around to a relationship with her father. So she feels like she didn't have the same runway of years that her brother did. And like, that is something that is very real. And like your relationship and your siblings' relationship with your parents are not going to ebb and flow at the same time. And taking a little moment like that and just depicting it as the like one of 24 different subplots that you get in this show is beautiful.
It's crazy. Yeah, it's
really
crazy.
beautiful.
It's crazy the depths they're able to get to, because we don't ever, from my memory, spend time with characters like that without, we are only there because we're following a doctor who's in that room. Like, we don't ever hang out with them when there's not a doctor there. Like, that's kind of remarkable, because we remember these specific emotional plot lines, but really what we're watching is the doctor watching that happen. And so you get,
and the thing that they just did before.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
The
So,
transition from one interaction to the
and
next.
so you immediately get a sense of the weight that's on these doctors. And particularly with Noah, you almost start getting annoyed at like those two, or like, the two with the fentanyl son, just because every single episode they're like, a nurse is like, hey, by the way, they want to talk to you again. And you're like, no, he's doing so much. He's busy.
And that at some point he's just gonna have to tell them that the son's dead.
Exactly.
And he keeps putting it off because he doesn't want to have to deal with it.
It's fucking hard, but it just does a good job of sending you around. So
I mean, the number of times that this man has to either tell someone that their loved one is dead or delay that conversation because he has to do some other crazy shit is like almost the full propulsive force of the entire show.
Well,
until it fully breaks him.
And it's also
and he has a panic attack.
That whole like skipping around the bush almost kind of it comes to a head towards the end of the middle, going into the third act, right before we get to the shooting, where you have this mother who's like, hey, I think my son might do a Columbine. Like, we should probably like find this fucking kid. And he's almost like having to push her aside because people just keep coming in with insane traumas. She's like, I'm sorry, I'm trying to find your son. I don't know where the fuck he is. I'll come back to you. Like, keep kind of like pushing her over until things come to a head, and then like a shooting happens. And the moment us as an audience, because we keep seeing her at different moments, like our brain immediately goes to like, oh fuck, her fucking kid did it, didn't he? He shot up.
But then also,
he shot up Lollapalooza.
But then also watching it, you're like, if that kid did it, like, I feel like that'd be a little corn for this show.
It makes the smart move, which is that it's not. It's just
exactly.
some guy that we don't ever see.
But before we forget, since you brought up the fentanyl kid, I just really want to shout out the mom.
It's our girl from Mike Flanagan School of Acting.
Samantha Sloyan is her name. Just one of the standouts of the whole
There's a
season.
lot of theater actors that are in the show.
And
it shows because you have to be able to have that kind of
you're just talking.
Well, and it goes back again to the consistent blocking and knowing where you are. That's like a huge thing on stage, is you are always acting even if the focus isn't on you whenever you're in some kind of a big sequence. So it makes sense that they would rely a lot on theater actors.
Also, how about you have some fucking respect for the dad as well?
Hey,
I don't know his name.
He's that guy though.
He is that guy specifically for commercials.
Oh wow.
I don't know if my whole life, genuinely since I was a kid, I've been clocking this guy because he's been in 1,000 commercials. So shout out to him. He got like a real acting opportunity
Good
here.
for him. No, he's great.
He is.
What's his name?
I don't know. I literally don't know, and I don't even.
No,
I don't want you to tell me.
I saw him, I was like, oh, I know that guy.
He is. If you look up his reel, it's going to be all commercials. It's every time I see him, I'm like, no fucking way, he got another one.
I just saw Samantha Sloyan, and I was just like, oh, the woman who plays the worst human being I've ever seen in my life in Midnight Mass. The woman who I want to kill in Midnight Mass.
So generally, I want to go through our main ensemble cast. And just talk about acting. We can get into their plots, but right now I just want to talk about them as actors because the show, as much as anything, it is a opportunity to just show your chops.
Do you guys have, outside, putting Robbie on the side over here because he is kind of the centripetal force of everything, who is your guys' favorite?
Yeah, so
of the cast?
I think we almost need to also set aside Dana.
That was gonna be me.
That's what I'm saying. She also
Catherine Lanassa.
She also is heavy favorite for Emmy. Luckily,
Sweet.
She's nominated.
She better fucking win it.
Incredible. Incredibly, like, again, just talking about like depth of performance and just like you kind of know exactly who this woman is and like who she is inhabiting without her necessarily having to spill her guts about.
And also,
she is nominated alongside Patty Arquette for Severance, which Carrie Coon, White Lotus, and then
all the White Lotus
three other White Lotus.
It's all the White Lotus girls.
4 White Lotus.
I feel like I hope they cancel each other out because like Dana is so good in this.
Yeah,
one of the only actors who bothers to try a Pittsburgh accent. And it makes sense because her character is the one who is most from Pittsburgh of anyone in the show.
Such a key figure that continuously is like being this like centerpiece around which
she's the charge nurse. She has to be the quarterback.
Yeah.
Like
she gets punched
even
in the
over
face.
Robbie, like she is the one who is, I mean, I guess even over the quarterback, she is the coach. Like she is the one who's keeping the pieces in place on the chessboard so that everything does not go to shit.
Yeah. And she has something really special about the way she acts. Like she's very, very good. She's someone who's bounced around around TV shows for decades. She's been married to a few like really interesting actors of note. I did a lot of research on it because I was like, who on earth? My God, you're good. Like she was
married to Dennis Hopper.
She's like the type of actor who like in the pitch, she's dialing up like the moisture of her eyes in every scene. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's so precise, but also so emotional. Like she's really special.
She's also, I love the little character detail that like, she's the one person who actually like smokes in the ER. Like this place has already broken her in many ways more than anybody else.
Well, she's ready to quit.
I'm hanging on, man.
She's
like,
going into this day.
She's at the point, if you're just like smoking and also working in the ER, and she's like, this is the only thing that I have is these little breaks to come
She's going
outside.
into this day thinking that she's done.
Yeah. So Patrick Ball is Langdon. I really, really, I was just like you. I went into it like, oh, come on. This is
I love
the actor, the actor skull. On this man.
No, he is a model. He is the most, more than anybody else. I'm like, you would never be a doctor. Like if you were like pre-med, somebody would come to you and be like, sir, you made a mistake. You went into the wrong classroom. Well, you should be going to model school.
Or you should be like a nurse with a modeling side gig. If there's anything I've learned from Love Island USA.
The scene when Robbie like finds out that he is fighting a drug addiction.
It's great.
One of my favorite scenes in the entire season. Leads perfectly into the next episode. And it comes at a perfect time when you're sort of wondering where this show is going to go. You're kind of wondering like, okay, am I just going to see 15 episodes of just patient after patient?
you know that it's not going to just be that way because one, they keep talking about like, 2 hours left, 1 hour left. And I'm like, I'm looking at the episode count and that doesn't feel right. And also because they're just like, hey, look at us. We're at Pitt Fest. Nothing bad ever can happen to us here. We're at Pitt Fest. And I'm like, Occam's Pitt Fest is showing that there's
Also,
Chekhov's
Pitt Fest.
school shooter boy just ran away.
Yeah, I'm going to guess that these threads are going to come together in some kind of way.
But then when it does happen, when it's like, oh, mass shooting reported, like you're still shocked.
Well, yeah, because because you have so much to chew on there. It's like you're one of the doctors there where you're like, that all seems bad, but I got all this shit going on.
So I really thought it was going to be like, yo, there's like bad fentanyl going everywhere, and like there's gonna be a bad drug overdose.
Yeah,
that was where I thought it was gonna be because you get the tee off with the kid doing fentanyl and
it's just gonna be him or something.
And I thought that was gonna be a thing of like there's something bad going around at Pitt Fest.
Everyone
People
at Pitt Fest did
giving out
fent.
like they think that they're just out there doing Molly and everybody's doing fent and they're all ODing out there.
The problem
That's
is
where
it
I
would just
thought
be
we
a
were
bunch of
going.
people like dying.
Yeah, because for the most part, if you
Can't really
OD on
save 'em,
fentanyl,
yeah.
you're just dead. Like there isn't a lot that you could do.
That'd be fun, I guess.
Be careful what you're starting test kits.
So the big foil to Langdon this season is Dr. Santos, who is a student doctor.
Not my favorite.
No.
But I didn't mind where
she comes
ends up.
around.
Yeah.
I actually think it's the way she's written. I don't blame the actor. The actor is Issa Briones. First crazy fact about her, because listen, I have a radar for this stuff. I didn't track that she's British. That's really impressive.
Oh.
She has a good accent.
Okay.
But I think the way she's written a lot of the time reminds me of
London.
It reminds me of those like the TikTok comedy people who do like every millennial girl in a rom-com. The way she's like, relax, Crash. It's a nickname.
No.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like
her character is written to be kind of the annoying one.
There's a lot of that. There's a lot of just like kind of like it feels like guys writing girls.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
No, I think that's right. Yeah.
And also she gets one of the arcs that like it's powerful, but it feels like the least rooted in reality, where she's talking to that guy and she's like, if you ever touch your fucking kid again. And it's like, whoa, I thought we were kind of in like a real thing.
So that was kind of, if I was going to like pick nits in the season, I really hate that didn't really go anywhere. Like I almost wanted that to come back around and then be like, yo, what the fuck? I never touched my daughter. Like almost like a false accusation thing. Like that was all, because I was like, that would be really interesting for a place for the show to go. Or have it like further explore that this is something that there is a dad in this thing. Is like it kind of like that is the biggest moment, is him with a tube down his throat and her yelling at him.
So
and I was like,
yeah, it was.
That's all we're getting.
I totally agree. It turns out the purpose of that scene was basically to make us understand her more. You know what I mean? Like she's a victim, and maybe that's why she's so hardened and mean to people. But like, we'll get into that in general, because if I'm to have one critique, it's similar to that. But I really enjoy like her back and forth with Langdon across the season, though. I think that is dialed perfectly, because
she drives a lot of plot.
And they are the two least likable characters.
Yeah.
So you're like, who's gonna be right here? I really didn't know if she was just like being annoying or if he really was fucking around.
Well, especially because they have like their dynamic together is very like they kind of start and do gravitate to each other at first and then pull further and further and further apart until there is fully like the snapping, the breaking point where he gets suspicious of her and then like everything else like that. Like,
and it is
down.
And it is like a lot of things in the show. It's just it's another like showcase for like Dr. Robbie is just a great fucking doctor. The way that he manages all that, because like he obviously he likes Langdon and depends on Langdon and needs him there. But when he sees Langdon overstepping with her, he chews him the fuck
He's
out.
a great manager of people.
Yeah, finding out all the shit about Langdon. He's like, what the why are you talking to her like that? What in the hell is going on here? It's he's just a great doctor. This whole show is like Dr. Robbie propaganda.
It's funny how these new doctors, first day on the job, how they interact with their new coworkers, because you're kind of thrown into the shit, and by the sort of halfway point, you almost forget that it's their first day on the job.
Yeah,
A little
exactly.
bit. They're kind of like very, very familiar with each other.
No, exactly.
But then a
it's
moment
thrown
like
into
that,
the fire.
But then a moment like that highlights like, hey, like you just met this
Langman's
person.
like, who are you, bitch? She's like, what the fuck is wrong? So the other doctors who have been around, I think maybe my favorite outside of the two that are off limits, it might be Fiona Dourif.
Oh my god, yes.
As
McKay.
McKay. She's a great character.
Incredible.
But the way she plays that is just like flawless. Like that is an awesome performance of a character that could be seen as a little bit derivative, but yeah, she like middle-aged mom, divorced. Her speaking of derivative, when her ex shows up and he's like a absolute joke of a douchebag.
When he wanders into the room of like gunshot victims, he's like,
I was the way he had been up to that point, I was half expecting him to be like, "Hey babe, where's my apple juice? What the hell?"
Speaking of, did you know that she is one of 2 nepo babies that we'll talk about in this?
Thing? Is she Brad Dourif's?
Her dad
daughter?
is Brad Dourif.
That's awesome.
Chucky from the Child's Play movies. Also, like I think he played Wormtongue in Lord of the Rings. Billy Bibbit in One
he's
Flew
a
Over the
legend.
Cuckoo's Nest. Like legendary actor. I thought she is phenomenal.
She's
like she honestly
so
has.
good, dude.
I think maybe the best written character of the entire show. Like it is so dynamic.
Yeah,
You
she's
understand
super
exactly what
nuanced.
she's about. The moment towards the end of the season where she is getting arrested, I like wanted to be like, no, fuck you, dude. ACAB, like fuck that, man. I've seen everything she's done, and like the way that everybody reacts in real time as it's happening,
It's
is
awesome.
Great.
Exactly. It is a super well written character, though. You're right. Like there's so much going on with her. The house arrest, the bleeding heart of her, the fact that she cares so deeply about every single patient. She's just fascinating to follow.
They
she
can use her in
honestly
Eddington, New Mexico.
She feels like a real medical professional.
Yeah,
in a way that a lot of these don't. Not that the show is worse for it, because they're first and foremost like characters on a television show. So
yeah, but
that is the priority. But I think that Dr. Robbie, like, obviously he feels like a real doctor, but not everyone is on his level. And I think that she really gets close to that level where you kind of, so much of this show is you forgetting that you're watching actors a lot of times. And sometimes it's not. Sometimes it is leaning into the fact that there are actors, and that's part of it.
But she's like,
there's this pivot where when you're locked into a scene with her, most of the time you're feeling like you're watching an actual medical professional.
You feel like you're watching like a person.
Yeah.
Like she's just so human. And a way that they bring that out, again, like we said with the last duo, is they put her in a duo with a foil, like a true foil, Javadi. Shabana Aziz, again, I'm going to say, didn't catch. She's Australian.
Wow.
What?
Good
job. Really impressive.
Good job by you.
Performance that at first I really didn't like, and then as you get in the groove, you realize you're not like,
she's kind of a child
up front, especially. You're supposed to like not like her. Like she's not a likable character at first. She is, and especially Ep1, like there's not a lot of depth to her. She's Crash, and then you learn that her mom's a surgeon there, and she's like a fucking kid, and as it goes on, I came to really appreciate her performance as someone who is really, we're only following one day, so like it can't be a giant arc.
Yeah.
But like at the end of the day, she does get it more than she got it at the beginning.
It's the interaction that she has with the kid who comes in, the eye injury kid, the baseball injury, where it's just seeing the dad's relationship to the son that like makes her snap, and she sees herself in that son.
Yeah, she gets
with her
fucking
mom.
mad.
And she's just like, what the fuck? Your son might lose his eyesight, and you're asking if he's gonna be ready to go for the game on Thursday. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
But
like,
it's exactly. But I love early on, like a lot of what you get with her is just a lack of tact with her patients. Like, and so
I mean, she blows it with that one, the unhomed patient who's there, who comes into
No,
the
yeah, exactly. Like there's a lot of her just like not knowing what real people live like. And one plot line that's really, really small and subtle that I love is when her lack of tact actually results in a positive with the trans patient.
Yes.
Because she just doesn't know.
Yeah.
And it brings a tear to the patient's eye. She's like, oh my God, you really don't know. That's incredible. And the show doesn't even take the time to explain it to you.
No.
I mean, there's a lot
right
of little moments like that where you have almost like a throwaway interaction between the doctor and the patient that doesn't necessarily serve like the larger plot, but it just adds that tiny bit of texture to make this place feel real. And sometimes it does culminate, like the guy in the waiting room who ends up punching our girl.
Dude, shout out to that actor. I hate him.
Yeah.
I want to beat his fucking ass, and that's a credit to him as a guy, but I hate that guy.
But there's so many, this show finds so many opportunities to give random players their moment.
Yeah.
And sometimes it continues and it escalates, and sometimes it doesn't. And I think that each time it approaches it with the same level of, careful just attention and it never pushes any of these scenes to the wayside. It holds everything with the same level of gravity. It doesn't matter if it's like someone getting blood drawn or someone bleeding out from a gunshot.
Exactly. So you know, even though like you start to sense patterns as the season goes on, you never are truly like, this is the scene where this guy dies. You really never know. And like certain patients come and go and they don't die, and it's never even a risk. And then other patients come and it seems fine and then they do. Like it's really, it's much like real life. The other Nepo baby, of course, is Taylor Dearden.
One of my faves.
I think that this is, aside from Fiona and our main two, this is my favorite. My favorite of the residents.
I really like, Dr. King. I really like her. She's the Cran Dog's daughter.
When you told me that, when you posted that thing that she is Bryan Cranston's daughter, that blew my fucking mind.
Oh yeah.
No idea.
Really, it's crazy. She's also in American Vandal, which was, incredible show, particularly season 1. Didn't recognize her from that at all. This is her first like big prestige like adult role. It's a part that is written to be dialed up in the way that she is being dialed up because like she's quirked up, like she's Sheldon-y. That's how it's written. So you can't blame her for being like that. And I think like all these characters, as the show goes on, you get so many dimensions, you get so many layers of her that like it pays off in dividends.
Right, because she's not just playing it as like I'm just like the autistic person here, like anything. Like she has certain things that trigger her and that are like very upsetting to her, specifically like in seeing the way that certain like patients react or certain patients like kind of deal with certain things that like does upset her. And then there's other moments where she is the calmest person in the room and she's like the only person who's like, you do this, you do that, I'll be over here. Like she is able to take control just like every other person. Like it's almost using this thing. I think it's really important that the show doesn't just have her as like the one neurodivergent person here. One, you have like her relationship with her sister, which great joke, like throwaway joke at the end of the season where she's like FaceTiming her sister and it's like, yeah, let's go. Let's like watch a movie. And she's just like, Elf. She's like, or we could watch something new and not Elf. And she's like, oh, it's so funny. Great joke. But also to the point about, that kind of empathy that you're getting with the patients when you have the other neurodivergent autistic guy who comes in who's just like Langdon doesn't know how to talk to this guy. Yeah. Like it's something where he can't disconnect.
Langdon's instinct is to like shove him into a locker.
Langdon's like, I want to give this guy a fucking noogie. Like I just
meds. I'm gonna snort them.
I think that going back a little bit to like the conceit of like the hospital ownership of like the ratings are really low for this hospital. We have to work on our bedside manner. That's a good entryway into having these medical students coming in because they haven't been as jaded by everything yet. So their impulse is like, it works both ways. Because in one way, their impulse is like, I've only read what the books told me to do, and the books haven't briefed me for this like serious medical situation that's arising right now. And also, like, the books have taught me that like I should care about the patients and treat them first. So like they are coming in and they are teaching the doctors in the same way the doctors are teaching them. And I think that's a really cool conceit, and I really love that. The one doctor who does have some level of bedside manner, I'm a little bit more conflicted with her character. Like, she feels like a character who we're missing something, and I feel like maybe I don't want to chalk it up to the performance or to the actress. Like, I think that there is more there, and we just kind of ran out of time with her. But Dr. Mohan,
that's fair. I'll chalk it up to the performance if you don't feel like it. I don't think she's good. I think you're right though. Like,
I kind of like how we ended up with her, where she is like riding the manic like high, the adrenaline high.
That's cool.
I just saved 100 people's lives, and like I'm just ready to keep going. Like, that's kind of like a really sick, like nuanced idea to put into the
exactly. So that's.
I think there are a lot of people who work in healthcare that are like,
100%.
Yes, 100%. So they're there for the high of it all.
So that is, since she's been a pretty straightforward character in the show, that's her time to perform. And I think it's totally flat, like 100%. I don't think it's a good performance. Respectfully, as like someone who has no sway, no power, and like knows absolutely nothing. It's kind of stuck out like a sore thumb in the show for me. There are no layers to the performance at all.
Yeah.
In any scene that
That's
she's
fair.
in.
She
is giving you exactly what the line is. There's no behind the eyes thought where you're like, whoa, what's really going on with this character? There's none of that.
I almost thought that was part of the performance, because her whole thing is like she connects with her doctor or with her patients because she's real. She's the one who's like actually connecting with them on like a human level.
To me,
but then I should feel like she's a human then, but I don't.
Whenever we got, because she's not the only character who kind of goes in that flatness direction. It happens a couple times, specifically with like pretty much all like the newbies. I would say at one point or another we get something like that. To me, like, I took that as the show just deciding to be a more watchable, simple experience to offset the more complicated stuff. So watching this was a whirlwind, because I would some nights with Lee watch like 3 or 4 hours of this show, right? And so I think that if you were to fill all of that with extremely demanding, intense, layered performances, it would be a very, very different experience than, having those pockets of like a little bit of a flatter performance, a little bit of a simpler thing, a little bit more of just straightforward kind of two-dimensional characterization, and then you jump back into the more intense stuff. It made it so that it was more of like this swirling thing where you're being taken in and out of different versions of this show. And to me, the experience was seamless. Like, whenever the show chose to be the more kind of, I guess, like cookie cutter two-dimensional version of itself, it wasn't jarring to me. Somehow they managed to give you the deeper version and the simpler version, and when it would go from one to the other, it was a super smooth transition for me.
That's totally fair. And it's when it's within the context of like, just something like a machine that's just operating so smoothly, it's not like you're getting crazy hung up on it. I just think that most scenes with Dr. Mohan, Supriya, Ganesh, and I wouldn't be saying this if like we had like a bunch of people listening to this and like it mattered, but like it felt like she was just reading lines, and it didn't feel that way with anyone else in the show. Like it felt truly like someone who was not inhabiting a character in any significant way. When it came time to truly perform at the end of the show, it didn't feel like anything at all. And that's fair. Yeah, and that's fine. Like, you're not going to slam dunk.
I do have her email. I will be sending her this episode, by the way. So they're on set filming right now. So
I think that
we should let her know to step it up.
I'm closer to where you're at, Ernest, where like I do think that you almost need the chaser of the pathos of Dr. Mohan and like what she is as a character to offset the shot of dead child. Like I think, and maybe that is speaking to like the television show of it all. And like whenever I said like, not even like a negative way of like talking about the second screening of the show like this is like, that is your moment to almost like
breathe,
maybe not second screen it, but like to exhale a little bit in those moments. You can't
take a little break.
Like that is part of the procedural element of it all too, is having some of that there. That being said, it is like one of the weaker things that I would say of the show, and a show that I think is otherwise like pretty flawless.
Yeah, it's I would say that's a performance that you could find in any medical procedural.
Yeah,
that's what I'd say.
Fair.
And I don't think it's just because by design. Yeah. I think that part of it's just like she didn't bring the goods, and that's fine. That happens.
I think the only other doctor that we haven't touched on is Dr. Collins, who we just got news of pretty recently.
Not returning, unfortunately.
Not returning for season 2.
Tracy a feature.
She turned her phone off after having a miscarriage at work and never turned it back on.
She quit that day.
She just never came back.
Before any of this.
Oh, she's in the new M. Night movie. That's what's going on.
Trapped 2? Trapped?
Before any of this news broke, in the finale of the show, a big red flag was going up for me that she doesn't at least come back in any context at all.
She's sleeping.
I can promise you that in the original script of that finale, she's involved in some way or another.
She comes back.
There is just no way. The way the show ends feels a little bit reshooty.
But would you have her come back to the hospital?
I would have her call
an acknowledgement of some way.
So it would just be, we would just hear her voice.
I don't think that the original finale had none of her.
You know
I
what?
really don't believe
it's funny that you say that's reshooty, because I had a thought when watching the show, which was, were they already greenlit for season 2? Because the season ends very confidently that there is more story here. Like, it ends with an ellipses, not with a period. Well, in a way that I thought was, it's either very confident or it is something that's like, we got tipped off that there is something more here, so we can kind of do some skirting around. Maybe we can like kind of leave certain things open.
All the outdoor stuff that's like actually in Pittsburgh, they shot all that first. So they did a block shoot of every exterior stuff. So first.
Yeah.
So
that's stuff that group. Yeah.
So whenever they're hanging out, like outside of the like having the drinks outside of the hospital at the end,
it kind of felt,
they already had those shots in the can.
It kind of felt weird. Maybe that's why.
Because they
didn't have the chemistry yet.
Yeah, because it was at the beginning.
Yeah, it felt a little odd.
Yeah.
Like those conversations didn't feel like they were like vibing.
The stuff on the roof with our boy who we haven't talked about yet. The next shift lead, that they shot that at the beginning before they knew what the season even was.
That's kind of crazy to me, because that scene fucking works.
Yeah. They just knew that
the
like
night
something
scene,
happened.
him on the roof is
that
scene really
well, yeah, and it's parallel. It's mirrored at the end.
Yeah. You get both.
Yeah,
they shot the daytime stuff and then waited, and then went back up and shot the nighttime stuff the same day.
That's crazy.
Yeah, no, our boys killed it. I mean, we gotta shout this guy out. What's his name?
Jack Abbott, Sean Hadosee.
So that seems like in another show, because in this show, like obviously Wyle is like baked into starring it, but like in another show, I would assume that like that guy auditioned for the lead and didn't get it, so they gave him like the backdoor, you know, like the guy who could be lead.
Yeah.
To be honest, he's like a guy I'm like, is this guy also an ER? Like he just would also
exactly.
blend in where it's like, you've probably been in medical.
Yeah, it's like you
procedurals
look
your whole
like
life.
at one point you probably were like really good looking.
I
Not so much anymore.
I loved him coming in at the end stretch with the whole shooting subplot. I was like clapping, and his team, you know, the night shift crew that comes in to help. Loved
It's
all
really-
those guys. Like to introduce an entire other group of
That's so cool.
characters.
That's such a-
so late into
Such
a
a
season.
confident choice, and they aren't just throwaways. Like they get real lines. Like they're actually
and they
in
and they
scenes.
also they have little character details that get opened up, and like you said, it's really like they must just really feel like they got another season, because like, for example, the guy who's doing triage out front,
that guy
and like
rocks.
no Wyle just like doesn't fuck with him because he's like just like sipping a coffee, you know, but like it's like, why do we know that about him?
But then like
It's
he's
such a
running that shit.
confidence,
Like it's a thing where it's like, well, I can't really like fault him. Like he's out there and he's
I know,
running.
but
it.
then later on, like he's inside and he has another little moment like that where like no, I was like, I don't know about this guy, but it never goes anywhere. It's like, I guess we'll just see him again then.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's a crazy thing to just throw into the very end.
Yeah,
Oh,
in like the
it's-
last 4 episodes of your TV.
Yeah,
show.
it's super cool. It is a huge bummer that Tracy of Feature's not coming back. I got to go back to that really quick. Like
Maybe for season 3.
for her to leave made a ton of sense, especially like Noah Wyle has talked about it a lot. Like toward the end of the season, like around when the shooting's happening, their goal was to remove every support wall that his character had, and she's the biggest one.
Yeah.
So for her to leave makes all the sense in the world, especially because she's just had a fucking miscarriage, and it's like
On the job.
really upsetting.
Yeah.
Really viscerally upsetting to watch.
I wouldn't come back to work if I were her.
I really liked her performance.
Even if there was a shooting. I mean, her phone's off, so we have to give her the benefit of the doubt. but maybe
She's like
give
at
her
home,
the
like
background.
pretending like her phone's off.
Yeah. Watching the news.
Yeah,
I'm
she's
just, like
totally
on,
watching.
She's like scrolling TikTok. Just
I think they got it.
The next day, she's like, "Whoa, I was so tired."
God, I slept for so.
Took a lot of
What happened?
melatonin.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Pit Fest massacre.
Fuck.
The transition of how they prep the floor for the shooting victims.
It goes so fast. It's so like
it's so sad that they have a protocol, like that they're not scrambling.
yeah,
that
they've
they
got
know,
it all. Well, it's like a third of an episode is dedicated to like telling us
Just the setup.
how it's all gonna work.
Yeah, but
And
they're
it's-
not. There is no fear.
No, they're just like, yeah, this is what our shooting thing.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's also something that is like it speaks to you that you do not need to, as an audience, know exactly all the things they're talking about, where it's just like, we're gonna go in ranges from green to black, and you as an audience know, depending on what color gets slapped on them, that's how fucked they are.
Yeah.
Like it's that it communicates to like the fucking monkey brain that you have, that you can be like blacking out when they're doing their actual medical speak of where they're spending people to different places, but you just see like a red band or a black and white band, and you're like, this guy's probably gonna die. Like we gotta figure out. They gotta get some help quick.
Yeah, exactly. It's very, you know, it ends up being like one of the biggest shootings in American history. Like over 100 people are shot, but like not
They
many.
keep coming.
Exactly.
and that's
So they keep coming in.
that's another thing is
Did they get a total fatality count?
Yeah, it's less than 10. Not a lot of people died.
Well, that's the number of people that died in the hospital.
There, yeah.
But I'm assuming more people died there
The-
at the fest.
the whole thing where they have to identify people, they have
Yeah.
to have the family members in holding. This show is about a lot of things. It touches so many subjects. It touches masks, COVID, measles, fentanyl. Like it really wants to hit as many buttons as it can, and all with extreme respect and carefulness to, you know, people who may have suffered and died from all of these things. But when it goes into a shooting, I think that to clear out multiple episodes for it, it shows you that like we've become so numb to this that we don't understand all of the steps and protocol and intricacies that have to happen. Every single body that has to be treated in this hospital like takes up space, and there's loved ones that are there waiting, and all the blood when they start like taking their own blood, which you shouldn't do.
It's so that's so gangster though.
Great. I don't think that actually happens. I think that's probably an unrealistic thing if we're gonna pick.
No, but that was so sick to watch. Yeah,
but it takes all of these things into account. I feel like they don't leave anything out for an event like this.
Yeah. No, I think to the point when they're bringing people in, it's so many people that we're not checking you in with a name. We're just giving you a number.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that's
clear out all the
so
people that
haunting.
are already in there.
Yeah. They're just like, hey, I know that you're in here because you like bonked your head or whatever. You don't want to see what the fuck is about to happen right now. Like, you're going up and just sitting in a hallway.
And in a way, it forces the hospital to act how it should, because now they have the ability to send people to other floors.
Well, they're actually properly staffed.
Yeah,
that's kind of the
like
irony of that
up.
sequence of like, oh, now they're properly staffed and they're able to handle a crisis, but just on any given day, they don't have enough nurses. They don't have enough beds to deal with anybody.
And then so you get a couple episodes of just like pure action here, and you also get the
so much blood,
and you also get the emotional crux of Robbie breaking down, like absolutely
the panic attack,
losing it.
And hey, going back to our little Nebraskan boy, he gets his
Dr. Robbie, you gotta get back to work.
So you just watched that. At what point does he fail to save that girl? Does that happen before the breakdown?
No, yeah, it happens before the breakdown.
Yeah,
it's his like they spend like 2 different episodes trying to get in touch with what's the name of his stepson?
You mentioned it. Was
that
it Mateo?
That little
Mateo?
No, not Mateo.
Mateo's a nurse.
Mateo's the nurse.
No,
Eddie
Mateo
or
is
something.
Mateo's a nurse.
Mateo is the nurse who Dr. Giavotti.
He's the cool nurse who fucks.
Yeah. Who's the sexy little nurse who the racist guy.
You're right. Yes.
Calls him some racist names.
You're right.
But the stepson, like they spend a couple episodes trying to get a hold of him. He finally comes in, and again, just smart screenwriting point. He's okay. But his girlfriend, who you just knew the moment that she FaceTimed in and we were like, hey, just had to like make sure that you saw my face. Hope that nothing bad happens to me while I'm at Pitt Fest. Like I was like, I don't think things are going to go well for this girl. So she gets shot and dies. Jake, thank you.
Yeah, I did. Before, when we still didn't know anything that happened, I did like watching it with my girlfriend. I was like, okay, let's do like a side bet. And I made the right one where it was like a parlay of like, I don't think it was the incel who did the shooting. I don't think that kid's gonna get shot. I do think his girlfriend's dead meat.
And she's dead as shit. It is. It's something that's just a little bit of like brains broken from watching too many things.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, but I can't blame the show.
I think that's also.
I mean, her dying is
awful.
It's really brutal,
and
man.
Well, what Robbie like milking it so hard, using all that blood on her when he shouldn't.
Well, it's the thing. Where it's like he knows that like one life shouldn't be more important than the rest, but they are to him.
Yeah,
like, and it is a thing where
his homie doctor's watching him like, hey man, like
it's over.
How many people could you have saved with that blood right there? Like it's the thing that they have to keep like reminding him of almost of like, what are you doing? Like,
it's the 24 aspect. It's the real time. It's the fact that you're just sitting there every second that he is not pulling away to go help somebody else.
I think also to the 24 aspect of it, I think the show makes a really smart decision that by the end of the day, Jake does not forgive Robbie.
Jake is still fucking
because guess what? Like 2.5 hours have passed. He's not just like over it now.
And he's
that
a
his
kid.
girlfriend's dead. Yeah.
Like 100%. And I love that. I really that made me respect the show a lot more. B, if we're getting into like any critiques we might have for the show, I think obviously this is a show, it's fiction. You can write it and heighten however you like. I don't think that happens quite enough over the course of the show. I think that maybe one or two too many times the doctors give a patient or a patient's family a good speech on what they should do, and the patient listens and does that.
Yeah.
When in reality, that's not how it works.
But sometimes they don't.
I know, but there were one too many times, like the abortion mom, that mom, her brain is gone. Like in real life, that person is not going to change their stance on abortion because the doctor told them to. That's just not how people work. And it's fine because it's a show. You know what I mean? You're allowed to fictionalize however you want. It's just there are times where the show feels a little bit aspirational. You know what I mean? It's showing you how you should interact with doctors.
There's good wrinkles to that, though, where he takes the dad of the measles kid to all the dead bodies.
Oh, yeah.
And then he immediately is like, you're an asshole.
Which is really fucked up to
but then
do,
it
but
does
then
work.
it does work. Like an hour passes. Like it's not immediately that happens.
Yeah.
But like an hour goes by and you can tell that dad just had to sit there and kind of like think about what he saw.
There's moments when Robbie's like giving a speech and then something happens in the middle of the speech and he has to stop and just like get back to work.
100%. Like, and again, this isn't a real life. This is a show.
Yeah.
So you're allowed to do that. It's just in real life, I think maybe 1 out of 8 of those speeches actually works because people don't change because of a speech.
I mean,
that's the Sorkin of it all. It's like speeches don't change people.
It's not,
but it's good TV.
It doesn't have a perfect hit rate though. I mean, like see the doctors that are trying to get a hold of that one woman who's definitely being sex trafficked by her like
again, that's a great one.
That was
like
she
just leaves.
She just leaves and it's like she's probably just gonna end up like back on the streets and maybe she'll come back or she'll end up dead. Like it's a thing where it's like there's definitely something really sus happening here and she's not exposed enough. She hasn't been in it long enough or been broken long enough that she's ready to say something. It's just really sad, but like there's nothing else you can really do.
100%. And it's obviously it's a whole different piece of art, but especially coming off of talking about Eddington, which we just did, which is, you know, it's not trying to give you any aspiration of how it wants people to act. It just is just showing you how people act. Yeah. Another something I'm interested in that I would challenge the show to do in season 2 is to really try to tackle the idea of like a bad doctor because they don't do it. Langdon is on drugs and he's still a good doctor. Like it's crazy.
Well, I don't
and
think
like
he's not actively on drugs on shift.
I think he is.
Or like he is, but it's just like a small amount to wean himself off or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he's not like high. But so like and like Santos is annoying as fuck, but she's a great doctor.
No, she's great,
even though it's her first day. I would like
you want to see some malpractice. You want to see somebody like accidentally like puncture a spleen. It's going in there.
Not even that, but just like the idea that there are plenty of medical professionals who are mentally checked out. And it's just a job to them. They don't care about patients.
Yeah.
Like, if you've spent any time in a hospital, you've met them
Wasn't
before.
there a scene when one of the other like random doctors like got on Mohan for doing something wrong? Like when they were trying to like inject
it's when
something.
Langdon is trying. It's one of Langdon's patients, and it's whatever. It's Mohan, and it's what's her name? It's the girl he hates. Blanking on the name. Santos.
But there's another.
Langdon and Santos are like at a thing, and then Santos like takes the blame for Mohan, and then he just starts like screaming at her.
100%. So there's that. There's plenty of like doctors making mistakes in this because that happens. But it'd be interesting to watch because this show has so much respect for medical professionals. It is built on like so much reverence for people who do this work, which they deserve. However, there are doctors who don't care.
Yeah.
And
that's fair. There's people who do it for the money and they don't have
or like, you know, they've just done it for so long that like they've lost the ability to really put their emotions into it. And it would be interesting to see the show like this tackle that because that is a common reality that people who have spent serious time in hospitals have seen that is not shown in the show, which shows so many facets of reality, you know?
You're right, because we touch on people who have been jaded and hardened by it all, but they're still out there doing the best that they can, and I think that's a good point. Like that is something that you could touch on. We see multiple doctors be fully suicidal because they are so because they checked out, but they're like, I'm called to action, so I must do my doctorly duty. Like,
I think our best candidate is that doctor who's sipping the iced coffee.
Yeah,
he has hints of that where it's like this guy kind of doesn't care that it's weird that there's a shooting going on, and he kind of doesn't care that much, which is natural because you want to have a defense mechanism up, you know, if you work in this field.
Compartmentalization though is one thing, and apathy is another.
But this is, I think you're right. I think this is the best show to come out in years. I think it's so special what it does. And I
mean, it's my favorite show of the year. If we're extrapolating to the last couple years, I'd probably still take Station 11 over this. I'd probably still take Better Call Saul and Succession over this. But it's in that tier. It's in that top 5.
I will take this over season 1 of Succession, though.
That's what I'm saying, is that like we don't have the runway of this show. Like I think that coming off of The Bear, I might have said like, oh, The Bear is one of the best shows in years. But then like we've seen what The Bear has done the last couple seasons. Yeah. So like I want to give this the benefit of the doubt. This is one of the most exciting premiere seasons that I can remember in a very, very long time. I would put this above any of those shows that you just mentioned as far as the first season. Station 11 on the side, miniseries are kind of different because Station 11 is closer to like what I was saying before about like the cinematic of it all. Like that doesn't really feel like a television
like I May Destroy You.
Yeah.
You put that on that.
Yeah. Because I agree. I'll put Station 11 above this, but it's like that's like an open and shut
It's
case.
a little bit of apples to oranges. It's
you, like when you finish that, you weren't, you're like, oh, so that story's done.
Yeah.
This story isn't done yet.
Yeah.
It's really, I think the most likely pitfall it could fall into if it gets a little bit worse is, it's really hard to mine like something so close to reality. And so maybe they just get a little more crazy, a little more dramatic. And then you start to feel like, okay, is this supposed to trying to be real or is it not?
Well, I almost wonder if this is only like it needs to be like a 3-season show. Like it needs to have, and because it's a HBO, it's more likely to have some more guardrails in place that like it can go for as short or as long as it needs to go. But I think that's an easy pitfall to get into. If they do in season 2 what a lot of people think they're going to do, which is July 4th.
They confirmed it. It is happening.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Then we're going to have a shooting. We're definitely going to have 4th of July, so firework accidents.
Let's go.
What are we going to do for a season 3? And then like where are we going from there?
Noah Wyle, who is one of the writers on the show, one of the like main creative forces, he did a couple really great interviews. He's talked about like the production of it, the thinking behind like the building of the set and how that informs all of the writing. And he talked about how the core idea of this show is really focusing on this space. But once you get into a season 3, season 4, you could go beyond this space, right? Like you could follow people home. You could see what they do outside of work. Like you could really get to know these characters and really sort of see what exists for them outside of just what happens at work. That could be ideas for if you're looking at this in a season 4 or season 5 type thing.
Yeah, I don't know if I find that as interesting though.
You didn't like Whitaker being living in the forgotten wing of the hospital?
And then Santos is like, "Come on, Crash, you can stay with me."
That's not Crash. That's
you don't want to know. You don't know if
Yeah.
Dr. Robbie drinks either whiskey or a smoothie in the morning. What is he?
It turns out
starting to say
Dr.
with-
Robbie is like blacked out the whole show.
What if Dr. Robbie is actually also a drug addict? There's some kind of
Are you
hint
stealing
that
my fent?
Yeah. There's like some kind of alluding to like, you have to find something to numb the pain, man.
By the way, love the hoodie. I don't know whose idea it was for him
Good
to
choice.
wear a hoodie.
Hoodie on Scrubs.
That is
Yeah.
good look.
That's one of the best performances in TV I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Is him in that role ever. Top 5 I've ever seen. Like it's just like someone born to do that.
Mm-hmm.
He
carries.
absolute perfection.
I love when he takes off the hoodie for the mass shooting and then he puts it back on when they're done.
You see him zip it back up. Like,
He's
all
like,
right,
all
cool. Crisis averted.
Yeah, I do like how like the shooting just kind of like slows down and then ends and then they're just kind of back to it.
And then there's like 2 more episodes.
Yeah, and then they're like, all right, you go home, and it's like, I guess I just have to like fucking end my day.
It's
now.
like a dinner rush at a restaurant.
Honestly, yeah.
So fucked up. That's so true.
I mean, that's an apt comparison for it. And I have heard people kind of compare like a busy day in the ER to restaurant industry kind of things. If it's just like it just ramps up out of nowhere and you get a big rush and then it's just kind of gonna trickle down.
Yeah, you're just on like pure adrenaline for like 2 or 3 hours, and then you're like, all right, cool, I'm gonna head out, guys.
So you're basically like, we could just go down to like Advent Health tonight.
Yeah,
and just like do the midnight shift.
I could at least food run at a hospital,
right?
No tuna.
Shout out to the pediatrics room where he has the panic attack, the animals on the walls, flashbacks to COVID. They should do a COVID season. That's season 3. Just do a full COVID.
I don't think we need a full COVID season. I think we kind of know how it all goes.
All masks.
How much like diversity?
All people
is there
being like,
yeah. There's gonna be like, I'm dying of COVID, and somebody else is gonna be like, I'm also dying of COVID.
Shout out to the scene when the fentanyl boy, when everyone like gathers around the fentanyl boy as he's like wheeled away because he's gonna donate all his organs.
That was fucked. It also
the send off.
One moment that like I kind of questioned was it was in the middle of like tearing up, but like when he's talking to the parents as they're finally fucking leaving, they wouldn't leave this whole show. You're like, okay, listen, your kid's dead.
It's over.
And they like invite Robbie to the funeral, and he's like, you know what? I actually think that a lot of us want to go to that.
I guess.
Would they? Is he just kind of inviting everyone? They're like, hey, Robbie, we don't care. This happens every day, man.
On
we
my
don't care about this
day off.
Yeah.
I have to go to this dead kid's funeral because he fucking OD'd on.
Does Robbie spend all his days off going to funerals? For his own patients?
Yeah, I would want to jump off of the building too, I guess. Like, I don't know.
I just imagine all the other, like the nurses overhearing that, like, hey man, I'm busy.
Are they Filipino nurses or just like talking to each other? Like, what the fuck was that? Why is he volunteering us for that shit?
I like those ladies.
They were fun.
That's
great like side characters to this too, because there is like levels to it. There's like almost the recurring characters, and there's people like that. They just like,
and again, the camera work. Like they're just kind of like in the corner of a shot, and the camera will just like find them.
Yeah,
it'll just like wander over to them.
It's a great example of what the show is great at, which is combining like ancient storytelling with like super modern specific stuff, because like they're just two like Shakespearean characters. Like every Shakespeare play has two side characters that like talk about what you're watching and you laugh.
That's so true.
But also the specificity of them like speaking Tagalog, because they're nurses in a hospital, and that's like very likely. Like it's so cool.
All right, we can wrap it up there. Thank you all for listening. Please rate, review, and subscribe, like, and comment. Let us know your thoughts on The Pitt. Stay tuned for more coverage on summer flicks and TV. Kind of a down period for TV right now, but I'm sure we'll get into some good stuff in the fall. More catch up.
You don't have a lot of Love Island thoughts?
Not me.
A wrap up? Okay, cool.
Me and Danny are starting a side podcast.
Okay, cool.
Do it.
Can't wait to listen.
Like and comment, let us know your thoughts. WeBottomMic.net. Join the Discord, patreon.com/WeBottomMic. Thank you all that support the show. Listen to our Eddington thoughts if you haven't already. Check out thoughts on Fantastic Four and Sorry Baby, also up on the YouTube channel. Teased it before, teased it again. We're doing another bracket for our next career arc series. It'll be announced soon. Stay tuned for that. You'll get to vote. You'll get to decide who we cover next. This
time, only white guys in the bracket.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah, we've listened to the people.
Only white guys who have played medical professionals.
Yeah.
At some point.
Hugh Laurie.
George Clooney.
Zach Braff.
Okay. But like, it's only talking about their personal lives and specifically like their relationships and how problematic.
Did you see that there's officially a Scrubs reboot happening?
And they're coming back, I guess.
Yeah. I'm gonna shoot myself in the fucking head.
What are we doing?
They already did that.
It
went
bad. And it was bad. So then they're like,
let's do it again.
People probably forgot about season 9 of Scrubs. We can just like do it.
It's just based on the Verizon commercials. It's a spinoff of that.
It's a spinoff of Turks.
You know what? Donald
Fortnite
Faison, Zach Braff, y'all keep getting them checks.
Until then, thank you to the members of the Pit. and all healthcare professionals around the country. Thank you for your service. Goodbye.
Bye.